Hello, and welcome to this 22nd episode of 5 Minutes with NY Ike. I am Isaac Sacolick, or NY Ike on Twitter. And in this episode, I'm going to be talking about two terms around machine learning. What is MLOps and what is ModelOps? And ultimately, we're going to be touching on the subject of how collaborative teams bring machine learning models into production and manage their ongoing operations. So when I define things, I like using analogies, and the analogy to MLOps is DevOps. They're both concentrating around things like the infrastructure for managing dev, test, and production, the automation, the collaboration between machine learning and data science teams with their operating teams, the ability to do integrations, particularly around application integrations, then the ongoing monitoring and security of models that are put into production. So you can think of MLOps as the equivalent of DevOps, but for machine learning models. Now, ModelOps, on the other hand, is very similar to the software development lifecycle that we apply to applications, microservices, and integrations. They take on slightly different terminologies and practices when it comes to models, though. First, instead of sourcing libraries and components, we're actually sourcing data. We need to actually tag data so that it can be used in machine learning models. We're creating different data sets to run through our different experiments, usually one to run a test and one to validate it. We're actually creating a common set of features that can be used across machine learning models. We're then going through the process of developing machine learning models and testing them. And then ultimately, it's the process of making sure that machine learning models are running properly in production. Right, so MLOps, like DevOps, and ModelOps, very similar to the SDLC applied to applications. Now, one way of thinking about MLOps versus ModelOps is that MLOps is a subset of ModelOps. I prefer this picture, which shows that some aspects of MLOps and ModelOps overlap, others are distinct processes. And ultimately, what we're really talking about is aligning the organization and responsibilities to make sure that models are built in the right places. That's really a business responsibility, that we can create models in a governed process that's usually a data governance and a data science process, then ultimately to how we're managing the integration with other applications. That gets into obviously app dev, and then on to managing them into production, which is really IT ops and everybody's responsibilities. So whether it's model ops or ML ops, we should set our sight on the goal of getting valuable and impactful machine learning models into production and then maintaining them. So there are similarities between developing and managing models and also developing other forms of code, including applications, microservices, integrations, and automations. They all start with the business in terms of defining a vision. In our frameworks, we use Agile as a planning, delivery, and release management process, including applying it in machine learning model development, test, and maintenance. And then ultimately, we're working with infrastructure, with security, and the ability to monitor what's in production and make improvements. So there are plenty of similarities between machine learning and other forms of coding and application development, and yet there's some distinct differences, specifically around developing and managing machine learning models and the infrastructure required for them. If you want to learn more about those, I'm going to cover that in an accompanying blog post to this video. You can get access to it with this convenient URL, starcio.com/5nyike/EP22. Thank you for joining me on this episode of 5 Minutes with NY Ike. Please use the subscribe button and subscribe to our channel, and we'll have a new episode for you in about a couple of weeks. Have a good day.